Welcome to day one of self-quarantine. My husband had a TAVR, artificial valve, put in his heart on the 25th, and my boss um, came down with a sore throat. Another employee had a sore throat and headache, so I'm self-quarantining to help protect my husband. So I'm doing something that I typically would not do, and that is be in front of a camera to show people how I trick train my deaf dog. I also trick train blind dogs. This is Ralphie. He will turn 4 years old this year. He received a champion trick title just before he reached the age of 1. Deaf dogs are highly trainable. I think the key is to be able to get their focus on us. So typically what I will do with a deaf dog, what I did with this deaf dog, was I would use his food, and he eats kibble and fresh foods. I would sit on the floor with that bowl of food, and I would first get him to look at me. So I will just, let me get him to the side here, and I'll get him in a sit. And I do this, I get eye contact. I request eye contact from him. And you can see he's watching me. He's looking at me, and I give him the thumbs up because that is what I want. That is the behavior that I want from this dog. If I have watchfulness, then I can cue him to do different behaviors. I can tell him down from a distance to lie down. I can tell him to come. So what I'll do is I'll sit down in front of that dog and I'll do this. I'm going to put him in down here. I'm already here. Turn around. Okay, so I've got treats in my hands, and he's looking at my hands right now, and that's not the behavior that I want. So I'm going to put my hands behind my back, and as soon as he looks at me, I will give him a happy face, and a thumbs up, and tell him he's a good boy. Yes, good boy. And I want him to keep that eye contact. I want it freely offered. Good boy. And I give a happy face, a surprised face to let him know that is the behavior that I'm looking for. Good boy. Yes. And the longer he keeps that eye contact, that's perfect. And I will take that little Ziwi peak and I will break it into tiny pieces. With dogs, what I've learned, I've had a pack for many years. And what I've learned with the pack is that it's not the size of the treat, it's the number of treats that you give. So one big treat will be gone just as fast as a tiny treat. It's when you keep giving those treats that gets the excitement in the dog. So again, he's looking at my hands. I don't want him looking at my hands, so I'm putting him behind my back. And now he's looking in my eyes. We do want our deaf dogs to be looking at our hands because that's going to cue them. But we also want them looking at our faces. That we want them looking to us because that's how we're going to communicate. Good boy. And now I'm going to tell him to stand up. Good boy. Okay, now. Very good. So, let's go over how I teach sit. It's basically how you teach any puppy. You take that tiny treat, you take it from the nose and bring it back until the puppy sits. Ideally, I would have a deaf puppy to teach, to show how this is done. I don't have a deaf puppy. Maybe someday will come where I do have another deaf puppy, but I can't wait to share how this is done. It's not ideal, but it's what we have. So I take it from the nose, bring it back until the puppy sits. Now, if your puppy or deaf dog backs up, then start in a corner. it will prevent the puppy from, the puppy can only back up so far. So I'm going to stand up again. He's looking at something else. Going to stand up again, bring it back until he sits, and give him a go. Eventually what you're going to do, once you've got your puppy doing this, or your deaf dog doing this, you will add your visual cue. So we're going to get him, so again, you bring it back till he sits and give the treat. And then you're going to move to this. You're going to do this, and you're going to go sit as you bring it back, and then you give the treat. Eventually what this is going to look like is this. He's not doing it. He's going to be, yes, that's a good boy. So leave it to dogs to do things like this at the most inopportune times. So what I'm going to do, no, I don't want to come. I'm going to do this. Yes. Oh, yes, good boy. Good sit. Come. Sit. I don't want to wait. Just sit. No, just sit. Yep, that's good. That's good. Yep. What you looking at? Just to sit. Okay. The next thing that I tend to teach a puppy is down. And for down, you take the tiny piece of treat in your hand. I will actually sometimes put it in between my fingers, so I'm holding it like this. And you do this. And that puppy, use the puppy's nose to help you guide that puppy down. So again, you take it like this. And you do this. So the dog follows it all the way down. And then you release the treat. And then eventually it will look like this. You take the treat, you give your down cue, thumbs up, happiness, yes. For this dog, jazzy hands is excitement for him. He knows he's done great. So, and if you watch here, okay, this is a watch cue. I do this to get his attention, to bring his focus up to my eyes. And then I can do this, and this. Good boy. Good boy. Deaf puppies have so much potential. Blind puppies have so much potential. People often don't realize that they're trainable. Have fun with your dog.